Since this is the last day of answering questions, actually tomorrow is my summary about the 30-day challenge. I decided to answer quite a few questions one after the other. Let's call it a rapid fire. So it goes like this. How does being in a public spot feel to you? I kind of hate it, honestly. I'm not looking for fame, so I don't really like the spotlight. This is in stark contrast as when I was younger. When I was younger, I wanted, all the light, the spotlight to shine on me, but not anymore. I actually prefer to fly under the radar so no one notices me, and then I have like a cool life. It's a bit like those celebrity when they become public figure, and then they lost something they will never get back. Everyone in the street will recognize them and so on. So I really don't like that. I prefer to be under the radar and no one really recognize me, so I can go ahead and then live my life. What are you most afraid in your business right now? I think, and it's not just right now, but it's always in general. The thing I'm always very afraid when it comes to business is not to provide enough value. And basically this is as simple as that. The rest are all risks, and all risks could sort of like be managed. So it could be that tomorrow one of my email provider decide to not support QuickMail anymore or some stuff like that, and that could be a big blow to my business. But I'm not really afraid of that. I mean, this is a risk that I'm living with, but not being able to provide enough value is very difficult for me. What are you angry about? I'm usually very pragmatic. I could be angry about things that I don't control, but angriness is a destructive emotion that what are you gonna say about this? It usually happens because of what we say to ourselves, like they did it on purpose or some other stuff like that. So angriness is a very destructive emotion, so I prefer to just leave it on the side and then carry on. It's, like I mentioned, a more pragmatic way of living, I would say. What are you sad about? I think my sadness also ultimately always come from people suffering. It could be emotional suffering. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical suffering. For example, one of the biggest suffering, or one that makes me really sad, is people not being able to live themselves because they're trying to fit in a society or an environment that actually doesn't help them flourish. So for me, that makes me very sad, because I like seeing people living to their full potential, and people just putting themselves emotional burden is something that makes me sad. A little cat. Yeah, the cat is back today. Which goals of yours scares you the most? Actually none. I'm not really scared by goals. I'm actually pretty excited by my goals. I'm a competitive by nature, so I like having goals. Can you talk about your most embarrassing moment in business and in life? This one is probably super hard to answer, because that's not really a feeling that I remember experiencing much at all. Embarrassment is... how can I say that? Sometimes I feel out of place, but I don't really feel embarrassed. Embarrassed is really how people are actually seeing my behavior or something. So people with me can be embarrassed, but usually myself, I'm not really embarrassed. It's just like, it's like slurping, for example. If you slurp in Japan, it's just like, it means it's a good meal. If you slurp in Europe or in America, it means you don't have any manner. And people can get embarrassed by that. I don't care, because it depends on the culture and how people are reacting to stuff. So it's not really a feeling I'm experiencing very often. That's it for today. Well, I won't tell you to comment if you have any questions, because I won't answer them anymore. You had your chance, you had your 30 days. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving yesterday, and I still see you tomorrow for the last video. See you tomorrow.